going to compare a couple different watercolor pencil options. And it goes from cheapest to most expensive. With Hobby Lobby's Fine Touch, Derwent, both a solid piece and their regular watercolor pencils, Prismacolor, Faber Castell, and these are Cretacolor. So I'm just going to start. Now, I got into watercolor pencils with these from Hobby Lobby, and I did some good work with them. I enjoyed them, thought they were a lot of fun. So if you're not sure if you're going to like watercolor pencils, try out a cheaper brand. You'll be able to do some good stuff with it, rather than spending a bunch of money on the more expensive stuff and then not liking it. I'm just trying to get this, see how dark I can get it. So those two, and this is a solid piece watercolor pencil from Derwent. It's Aquatone Deep Vermilion. I should mention, with the drawback to the Hobby Lobby ones, they don't have numbers, or they don't have names on them, so I actually numbered the bottoms so that I could tell what color was what. Otherwise you really can't tell. I mean, you can see this side doesn't indicate this color at all. Now with these solid pieces, you get more for your money because you're not paying for any of the wood core to hold the color. The problem is they're very fragile, and so they snap really easy. This one actually snapped in transit. I had ordered these from Dick Blick because you can buy the individual pencils from Dick Blick, and they were really awesome. They got me a new pencil in less than a week after I told them that the one came damaged. But it's something to consider when you get them. You know, are you carrying these around a lot? Or if you are, make sure you got something that's going to protect them. This is Derwent Rose Madder Lake, and this one is Derwent Magenta 22. The Derwents have a fairly hard core. Yeah, hard core. No, I'm sorry. And they go down nice. It's very nice colors. Now this is Prismacolor Mulberry. Whereas the Prismacolor are a much softer pencil. The colored pencils are too. They're very, very smooth. It's almost a buttery feel to them. Now this is Prismacolor and Parrot. Such a beautiful color. It's one of my favorite colors. I can't find enough excuses to use this type of color in my paintings. Teal and purple, for whatever reason, are my colors. I don't know why, but they just are. This is Albrech Durer for Faber Castell, and it's Dick Van Dyke Brown, or Van Dyke Brown. I always think Dick Van Dyke, but that's me. And these are also, they're a bit harder than the Faber Castell. They hold their point better. they're still, I think, a little bit smoother than the Derwent. Making a color chart like this is really a good idea. Here's Cretacolor, Aqua Monolith, and this is Mars Violet Dark. Simply because with watercolor pencils, when you get them wet, they change so much. Some more so than others. Some change color. Some are more intense, some are less. So it's good to know what your colors are going to do when they get wet without having to do a swatch test every time you pick up a color. This is Pompeian Red, also Aqua Monolith. Now, I believe that the Cretacolor and the Faber Castell are light fast, and I'm not so sure about the Prismacolor and the Derwent, if they're as light fast as the Faber Castell and these ones. And so let's get these babies going. To test. So you can see it, you can still see the colors underneath. It doesn't really remove the lines, but you still get quite a bit of flow out from that initial color. Okay, so then this is the Derwent Aquatone. That's just so vibrant. It's a beautiful color. You can see that the lines nearly disappear underneath it, whereas here you can still see the line, here you can't. And there are times where you might want the lines to stay, so it's something to keep in mind. This one, the color, you barely get any color. I mean, it is a light pink. This is the Rose Madder Lake, but it's such a light color afterwards. Whereas this, it becomes even more intense. Whereas this one fades away. This one just becomes so intense. Once again, you can almost get those lines to disappear. This is the Prismacolor Parrot. You don't see the lines disappear quite as much. It's still a beautiful color. Parrot is much more intense. And some of these properties depend on the color. You know, I just tested out 2 of each brand. That doesn't mean that it's indicative of the whole line. So you could just find a pigment that just doesn't want to do what the rest does. Because you can see this one, you almost have the line completely gone, whereas this one you can kind of still see it. So this is a Faber Castell. I love this purple. I mean, look how intense that purple is. It's gorgeous. Possibly my favorite color. Okay, and then these are the Cretacolors. And you can see that the color disappears from up here, but there's not a whole lot that comes out, and you can still see the lines. And then this one, once again, there's not a whole lot of color there. It doesn't become much more intense, but it is the same color, it's just not as intense as, say, these or these. So I recommend doing a swatch test on your own colors. I ended up, I got got so many swatches. I have both the Hobby Lobby colors swatched out, and I ended up getting the the Faber Castell. That's what I ended up with, and I used a gift certificate to buy these online, and I just love them. They have been wonderful. And I'm learning more about using. So I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.